got duals on it. Sounds good still. Still sounds like an old VW. The only thing after I did it that I kind of thought of that I screwed up on was the fact that I have the exhaust kind of exiting out, and on a factory one they kind of kicked it back, and there's a reason why they did that now that I look back on it, is because your air gets sucked in through here. So the only thing that can be a problem is the exhaust can kind of come around and come back. Now, not that big of a problem for the motor. Boy, is that dark. It's not that much of an issue for the motor, but you got to remember that's also your fresh air intake for your heat would come in and then blow into the cab, so I don't want to poison myself. So at some point I just got to kick some pipes, little elbows on it from side to side going back. Alright, gonna go play with this thing. Start off with cleaning up the carburetor. Of course it rained last night, and you can't dump the seat because it doesn't lift up, so we'll do a little bit of this just so I don't have to have a wet arse for the rest of the day. Alright. Up we go. Let's see what we got. Educate ourselves on this thing. That should be throttle. One of these should be choke. I'm going to go with that's choke. I'm going to say that is on. That's our clutch. And this should be our start. Pull or push? Push, pull. I think we gotta give it more throttle. One more. Choocher. And a little bit of a smoker. I might do a compression test on it too, see what we get. Alright, let's go. I got the carb off of it. Let's go crack this thing open and see what it looks like on the inside. Actually, I should probably just see if all the gas will come out of it first. No, yes. Yes. Again, I like to use a white cup. I like to see what I get. I don't know if this is just a drain or yeah, there it goes. No, it's nice. Oh, there's some mud. That'll clog your jets a little, huh? Yeah, that's what it was running on. You see that? Yummy. All right. I think Tractor Supply sells all the carb kits and whatnot for these. They're like this. I don't know why they do it. It seems like they try to keep a staple of the old stuff. I don't think much of it sells. But I guess if they're going to call themselves Tractor Supply, they got to supply some stuff for tractors. I know they have a lot of stuff for the Farmalls and the Fords in stock. They got like magneto parts and all of them. Try not to kill a gasket. Yeah, not too bad. Put a light on the subject. Got some mud in the bottom though. It needs to be addressed. I should flip you around so I can see if you're looking at what I'm looking at. Yeah. Muddy. So I'll pop those jets out of there. One on the bottom, there's a little one right there. And we'll soak that in the carb cleaner, see if we can get that cleaned out. And put it back together. See how it runs? And then do a compression test and kind of go over the tune-up components and see if we can get it to run a little bit better. Anyway, I got the carb soaking. I figured I'd take a look at this rear assembly on here. And it's probably off of another tractor or a smaller tractor, as you can see. So we took a torch and torched off this hole so that it would kind of line up to that pin. And so I have to try to figure out another way to get this remounted to this location. Somebody was talking about the fact that the bar is supposed to be able to swivel and when it goes up and down a hill, and that's true, but it would swivel down here on this pin when you take this bolt out. I don't think it's meant to swivel on these two hooks. So what I may end up doing, I thought I was going to flip it over, but I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm going to still need this pin down here. I may have to try to make another plate or something coming off of here, and with a new hole location, and then weld it to it. You know, maybe basically like a big washer, but a nice really thick one. I don't know, or add material to it and then re-drill it. We'll see how we make out. Okay, I got that set up off of there, and the other hole is probably going to end up right about here's where it needs to be. Not that's where they torched that off. But I think for what I'm going to end up doing to try to make a fix for this, instead of trying to make 2 new plates or whatever the issue is, I'm probably just going to cut it back something like that and have it come about this far out and back. And this is what I have for stock. So I'm going to cut those off and make those, bevel them and weld them in, and then I'll re-drill a new hole. Plus these have kind of like they probably had some kind of tapered washer or bushing that sat in here that kind of centered them. They're not here anymore. If he could find some, he could probably put them back in this location. This one I'm just going to drill a straight hole through it and nut and bolt it. So we'll go from there and see how that makes out. Okay, little jack stand time, and I unbolted all the bits and pieces on that to try to move that bar around a little bit. And I guess the goal is to try to get about 19 inches off the ground and 18 inches back from center. And it has 2 holes on each side, and I don't know if you can kind of see them down in there. There's a bunch of holes on this plate too, so you can kind of, ratchet this thing up and down by picking different spots and different holes that you have. I tried using the higher hole and moving the whole bracket up and kicking it on an angle, but it ended up being too tall and that wasn't going to work either. So my best bet is going to go with this setup right here, and again, so what I'm going to do is probably slice back and up, and I'll weld in some new material, and once I get it kind of finalized where I want it, I'll drill another hole and we can start over again as far as where that location is going to be. So I'm still got the carb soaking, and I picked up a carb kit for it, but I want to do the carburetor first, then spin the tractor around so I'm on level ground in my garage instead of trying to work on the dirt. And somewhere's the carb kit. Here it is. So as I said, Tractor Supply had it in stock. I could probably do better on eBay, but I didn't want to wait, and it was 28 bucks. It's not ridiculous, but they give you a new pivot shaft and everything too. We'll see if that one's got any play in it. We'll replace it. If not, we'll just leave it be. Little issue with the carb, if you can see that. Where that sits on the bottom of the bowl there, that's not good. Kind of corrosion eating the seat away. So we're going to continue to put it back together and just kind of hope for the best. You know, it definitely has a miss when you go to try to rev it up, so I'm going to go pull the plugs on it and we'll do a compression test and see what kind of shape the motor's in. Alright, I popped those plugs out of there and you can see each cylinder is definitely getting oil fouled, pumping a lot of oil through it, and did a compression test. So far I've got 3 out of 4 done. We got 70 pounds, 65 pounds, 80 pounds, and now we're going to go check number 4 right now. I haven't done it yet. You and I are going to do it together. Looks like we're at probably right around 80 also. So I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to be. I don't know if it's a low compression engine or not, so I'll have to go look it up. They're kind of close together, but I have a feeling they're got to be a little bit higher than that, and I think the engine's just kind of on the tired side, but it is what it is, right? You get the idea. Okay, so I finished drilling that hole out. That one's 5/8 and that one's 1/2 inch. And then I just took the other one, laid it underneath, and transferred down into it. And made a center hole again, and I'm going to work my way up, you know, on the little drill for the 1/2 inch one, and I'll drill a pilot hole on this side, and I'll go back over to the drill press for the other one. So what I ended up doing is I ended up putting the left plate on the right and the right plate on the left, because I wanted to try to get this pin right here as close to 19 as possible from the ground, and by doing that you get some adjustment by which hole you decide to put the other bolt in. And when you do that, they're probably about an inch increments, you can kind of move it up and down. So that's what I'm shooting for, and it was the only way I can kind of catch 2 holes in the plate. I was going to cut a whole section out of it and weld a new piece in, but I ended up doing it this way instead. So, and if you want it to float, say if you're towing something, you need the bar to float up and down, you would just remove these bolts in the backside and it just would pivot on this pin. That's how that's set up. I just wanted to add one thing. That the reason why you drill that pilot hole, even though you got a big drill bit that you're going, is because the bigger the bit, the harder the tip can cut. It's that very start of the hole, because that material in the middle becomes greater and greater. So that's kind of why you give a pilot hole to start with, and it also just aligns the bit and gives it a path to go follow. So, all right, let's do an after and see what we get. Still smokes pretty good though. So I went and I did a check on the compression, and the compression I think is supposed to be up around between 90 and 100. It depends on what head is on there, what piston setup and all that, but generally I think they're supposed to come in between 90 and 100. So it's running on the low side. I think that cylinder that's probably 65 is skipping a beat. At times you can hear it kind of come in and come out, but it is what it is, right? So you know, he'll play with it for now, and if he wants to pursue it further, he can. Well, that's pretty much what I'm leaving it with right there. You can kind of see it's got a bit of a bend to it, but that's in the bar itself. I tried jacking it on one side and beating it with a sledge on the other, but that stuff's pretty tough, you know. And I don't know how sensitive it is, but there's our new mounts. The left's on the right and the right's on the left now, and it's through bolted. And if you were to take this bolt out here on each side, then it will go back to floating again. So that should work out for him. I wish it was more meat around the metal, but it is what it is, you know. And he has adjustment on it now, and we are at 19 inches, so that works out pretty good. Alright guys, that's going to wrap this guy up for now. And again, thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing. And I have a victim out there. Gotta go get the fishing pole. Alright, see ya. Bye.